Now let us start with sensors in Android. Now sensors are kind of devices which are fit in Android device which can sense data or physical measurements. Again, I'm declaring for everything that you use, you must use a permission, get permission or declare it actually. So you can use this Android manifest. Now here you have to use a users feature, and in your Android name you have to type the name of the sensor. And there's another attribute in this, that's the Android required. Now if you want that devices without the specified sensor are there and you do not want your app to can install on those devices which do not have this type of sensor, you can set Android required is equal to true, otherwise you can set is equal it to false. Then how do we use the sensors? Then we use the sensors by implementing the activity with sensor event listener. Then we declare a sensor manager and a sensor. Then first we get a sensor manager by getting the system service with the argument context.sensor service. Then we can get a default sensor by calling get default sensor method on the sensor manager we have just obtained now, passing the argument of sensor.type accelerometer or any other sensor for that matter. Then we register listener for it by calling the sensor manager.register listener this. Then the second argument is your sensor and the first argument is the context obviously, and the third argument is the delay. So there are 4 types of delays. So here I have specified sensor manager.sensor delay fastest, and there is a slow delay, medium and high delay. Make sure that your app is able to handle, and you put little code in your sensor updation function that will encounter later on, so your Android app does not hang in any case. Then you can get the input elements. Then you can so now you can use on accuracy chain method. Actually you have to override it and execute any code here for the code to be executed whenever the accuracy of the sensor is changed. Remember, even if you're not using this function, you have to leave it blank as I have done. It must accept a sensor as first argument and an accuracy integer as second argument. Then you have to also override on sensor changed event. So basically each sensor value that you will get, we will put it in the form. So in this on sensor changed function, you have to accept a sensor event, and then first you will call dot sensor. So you have to get the variable dot sensor, that's a sensor variable from this event, and pass it into a sensor. Then you will check whether the type of it is sensor or type accelerometer, and if it is true, then we will run the code as below, and otherwise you can make the sensor not supported UI updation. Now you can get the values of the sensor. For example, in accelerometer type values, there are accelerometer sensor returns 3 type of values: x coordinate, y coordinate and z coordinate. So the x coordinate will be event.values. So basically event.values is sensor event that you are receiving. For example, if I type e here, then it will be e.values. So in the first index, it will be the second item. So basically at 0 index, the first item will be there, and it will be x coordinate, then y coordinate will be there at the first index, and z coordinate at the second index. So here are the 3 values. Then you can update your UI or process the values accordingly. Now there are 2 more methods, that's the on pause and on resume, which are a part of the Android activity lifecycle. So in your on pause method, you make sure you unregister your listener by calling sensor manager or unregister listener this, that's the context. So as soon as your app is put into background, it is not using sensors and not causing the Android to slow down. And in on resume function, you have to again re-register your listener, so you can again start using your sensor listener. So this was all about using sensors.